Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Food Trends Podcast. This is our pilot episode. So you are experiencing it along with us, and we're so glad that you're here. My name is Lauren Panoff, and
I'm Anna Reisdorf.
and we're two registered dietitians that really love food. We really love to write about food and learn about food and taste all the food and share all of the food trends with you. Um, if you're wondering what food trends are, we can explain that a little bit first, and then we'll just tell you a little bit about ourselves. So Anna, why don't you talk about food trends a little bit?
Sure. So, I want to say every year, there's all these articles that come out that are about the new food trends for the year. And that can encompass a lot of different things, I think. It can encompass new products that you're going to see on the market. It can encompass, new ingredients that are coming out that are becoming more popular. Now with, the advent of Reels and TikTok, it can encompass recipes that people are trying, like the pesto eggs and now the new thing is the water talk. Where they're mixing all the waters together, whatever. But also, it could also include different things like restaurants that you might see trending, new food combinations that people are coming up with. So it's anything related to new, popular, cool, innovative things that are happening in food.
Yeah, and
And
it's so interesting. Like I was thinking about this earlier. Food and nutrition like is so different today than it was obviously centuries ago, but like in the beginning it was like how to feed yourself, how to find the food on the planet to get what you need. And now like we're so far beyond that that what we're seeing is based on what consumers want. It's like this overabundance of food, at least in Western culture, right? And things are changing based on like TikTok and like things like that, but like what consumers are demanding. And it's like some nutrition science, but I think a lot of it is just influenced by the people, which there's good and bad, but like it's really interesting to see that, I think.
well, it's interesting to see that there's different types of food trends, and some of them are how unhealthy can it be? Let me come up with something creative, no matter how bad it is. Today, I saw somebody eating a fruit roll up with ice cream inside, and then the roll up gets hard because the ice cream
Oh,
is frozen, and so it's like crunchy. And I was like,
I saw that on a reel somewhere.
yeah, I like that's not really healthy, but like interesting, creative.
Interesting. I mean,
Yeah, and then there's a lot of sort of healthifying of different foods trend, which has been a trend for a while. People trying to make health recipes healthier or give, alternatives to popular foods that are healthier. And that's been going on for a long time. But some of the innovation is interesting around that. And I think we're going to probably talk a lot about the meat alternatives as kind of making things healthier or changing the nutritional profile of it for various benefits.
mhm.
Um, so it's cool. It's to me, I'm an all opportunity eater, and I just like to do things. So like to see all of that, I want to try it all.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably not the fruit roll up.
Maybe,
Maybe.
maybe. Never say never. We'll try it together. Yeah. Yeah, it's just it's so strange but so interesting, all of the things that are out there, because like you know food is more than just nourishment. It's more than just a social cultural movement. It's like a very individual part of ourselves. It's become like a part of our identities. So seeing what people like, what they don't like, how things are changing, how they affect different people, is so fascinating to me. And watching these trends pop up, it's like, where'd that come from? Like maybe there's some benefit to it. I don't know. Let's try it and see.
Mhm. Absolutely. So I think some of this idea came from our attendance at the Natural Products Expo East the end of
Mhm.
last year. We didn't get to go to the West one, which I hear is wild because
Yeah.
all natural food products are based in California, or a lot of them. But yeah, what are some of the things that you were impressed with when we went to that show?
Yeah, gosh, it was so overwhelming. It was like Christmas for us. I mean, we're dietitians, right? So we just like walk in and want to eat everything and talk to everybody. Um, I just really liked to see the trend toward not just like honoring people's health and honoring people's individuality, but like the bigger picture of this is how we make a more environmentally conscious food system. This is how we make just a more compassionate food system. How are we going to feed more people if like, you know, making things in a more sustainable way. Just a lot of that focus was really cool to see. I mean, regardless of what industry it was in, there seems to be a common goal for a lot of these brands. So it's cool to see like what is coming out of that. How about you?
Um, I was really fascinated by the innovation in the plant food space. I remember you and I had a great time tasting all the different plant milks and deciding which ones we liked
Yeah.
best. Because it's hard to commit to like a big bottle of something if you're not sure, right? So that was
Yeah.
that was good. Um, and then I think for me, it was the amount of just functional beverages. I
Mm.
think I drank so many different things at that, and like they put mushrooms into it and this and that and adaptogens and all this stuff. And then I think another thing that I think is cool, because I don't really like swallowing pills very much, is all the vitamins and supplements that came in chocolate or gummies or different ways. I think we took a shot of something,
Oh
uh
yeah.
some kind of vitamin. So just like all these different formats for getting more nutrients. And for me, like, that's just convenient
Hmm.
more than anything else, for if I wanted to take something or
Yeah.
other. So that was
There's
just cool to see how much of that there was.
yeah, and it's like there's something for everybody. Really, like there's so many options now. Like, do you want to take a probiotic shot in the morning, or would you rather take like a gummy vitamin or whatever? Just for different lifestyles. It was really cool to see that. Just more availability for people.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think we'll just continue to see those types of things, different ways of consuming vitamins and minerals. I
Yeah.
saw today's like a juice, those little like fruit squeezes, like the kids, the little pouches.
Oh
But
yeah.
I saw one for adults today, came up as an ad on my Instagram.
That's
Got like,
funny because I've found myself like ravaging my car and just like eating one of the kids' applesauces. If I'm like that hungry, they're probably the exact same thing. Maybe they have something added to them for adults. I don't know.
I don't know. I honestly, we have them and the kids eat them all the time. I've never eaten one.
Yeah. Well, it's
Ouch.
just like, yeah.
I, it just
It's that
never, I don't know. I
that
don't have
grab
a
and
problem with it.
go.
Just
Hmm.
never crossed my mind. Anyway.
Well, I think that's a reflection too of just like you look at our society and just the characteristics of what we deal with on a daily basis and what our lifestyles are like, and that is so reflected in the food trends that we're seeing. Like, at the expo, we saw so many sleep promoting things and like relaxation because everybody is stressed AF and like calm yourself. Here's like mood regulating things, like just things to like intrinsically calm us so we can get through our day to day. A lot of that like stress and sleep stuff.
Hmm. And then immunity. There was still a lot of immunity stuff too. I think that was probably left over from COVID.
Mm,
Um, but the interest in immunity, I think, was also there.
hmm. Yeah, because we want to be busy, right? Get all the things done, but also never get sick and also sleep more.
You fall asleep, you just go. Should do
Yes.
a podcast in the future on sleep trends.
Oh yeah.
That
Yeah,
would be
that
cool.
would
There's a lot of contraptions you can purchase for
oh
sleeping.
yeah. Yeah, like
Wide variety. Yeah,
the sleep tracking devices and stuff too.
that,
Hmm.
yes. But then also, like, we have a bed mattress thing that keeps us cool all night, that runs water
Oh.
through
Oh,
the bed.
that sounds nice.
About it in the future. Another thing that I was going to say is the personalization
Mm,
of supplements. So we saw a lot of brands that are doing, blood tests, poop tests, spit tests, quizzes. Like, those have been around for a bit, but
yeah.
trying to kind of really personalize the recommendations for what you should be taking. And some of it is when they have a large line of supplements, like they obviously don't want consumers to get confused by what to choose, right? If you have
Mhm.
so many choices, but I do think that there is a demand for some of that personalization for the recommendations.
Yeah, for sure. Um, and I mean, you sent in one, right? Yeah, at least you've tried at least one of them. I am too much of a baby. I was like, yes, I'm gonna do this. And then it was like, no, you have to prick your finger. And I was like, no, I'm out.
I've done two of them. I've done two of them. One was just one of the like was a probiotic company. And then the other one required the blood test and the poop test. So
Hmm.
I will say that while it was interesting, I wasn't really quite sure what to do with the results.
Oh,
I mean, obviously it was by the product,
sure.
but I didn't the other like lifestyle results, I felt like, okay, well then what do I do now? I remember one
Hmm.
of them came back and said that rutabagas were a serious problem for me. Like, I don't know if I've ever eaten a rutabaga. Like, I'm
Oh,
not
they're really
opposed
gross. So
to
you're
them.
not missing anything.
Maybe somewhere. But I'm just like, how is that the biggest food of concern?
Yeah, that's weird.
What do I do with that information now? Like, I'll gladly avoid rutabagas.
That is, yeah, that's so weird. I mean, and some of them probably they come back and recommend like their like line of supplements, right? Or like take this
Right.
combination of products that we have or whatever. Um, in addition to like you have these food sensitivities or you should avoid these like compounds or um I mean, yeah, I think it'll probably improve a lot over
Sure.
the years, right? But yeah, right now it's a little bit convoluted, like, oh, this is interesting information, but I don't necessarily know how to change my lifestyle to fit like, or do I need to? Am I experiencing like any reason that I would need to?
Right. So that I think that it's like probably data thrown into an algorithm that pops out certain results, but there's no, so while it is personalized, it's not really personalized at a level that like a practitioner could help you with to then figure out, okay, here are the things. So it came back like, you have a tendency to be overweight and not sleep. And I was like, well, thank you for that information. But like the root of the problem in the core of all of that,
Right. Yeah. You're just learning about yourself.
that one that I ate, 10 years ago in that soup.
It's really wreaked havoc on you.
So I just, it's interesting. They're fun to do. I wouldn't like hang my hat on them for like
Hmm.
deciding, okay, I can't eat this unless you are working with somebody who knows how to interpret it or uses a specific test or has more experience actually telling you, okay, this is what this said. Here's what you actually need to do.
For sure. I think that just in the healthcare industry as a whole, there's a trend toward using lifestyle medicine more, right? Like that's becoming a bigger thing of like looking at somebody's overall lifestyle. And maybe there's a time that those two will kind of come together where those practitioners will be more educated in like how to use results like that and maybe looking at somebody's overall plan and being like, oh, this fits here. Like, here's how I would interpret this or whatever. Like, somebody has to become an expert in that, like on a mass scale, I would think, for it to be really helpful and not
Sure.
just like, oh, figure this out for yourself. Like, I know we all want to be our own doctors sometimes, but like, we don't necessarily have that expertise. So,
It's hard to interpret, even for me, I'm a registered dietitian, but it's hard to interpret because some of these things are new or different. And the science of the microbiome is just so vast and
mm,
so, you know, unique, right? Everyone has a
yeah,
unique profile, and certain things that might affect you don't affect me, or vice versa. And it's just, I don't have enough in-depth expertise to make those types of assessments for myself or for anybody else. Um, so that
yeah.
makes it a little hard, especially even for somebody who doesn't, and probably worse for somebody who doesn't have any training.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean that it makes a lot of sense too to maybe that those personalized tests will become more common because we know that the gut microbiome is so heavily integrated with your entire body. Like it's not so much a separation of like your gut and your brain, or your gut and your immune system. Like it's all the things, but the gut is such a good microscope into what's going on like all over the place. So I don't know, I think there's a lot of potential there, but it'll be interesting to see how that I don't know how that expands, how it gets better.
Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then I think another thing that I wanted to mention is all the mushrooms.
I was
A
just thinking
lot of
that, yeah.
mushrooms. Are there all these functional mushrooms, which are interesting.
Hmm.
Um, there's a lot of like more sort of Chinese medicine, alternative therapy, complementary alternative therapy research about some of this. I'm not quite sure how much it's gone into the mainstream to where people want to push it so hard. Um, you've been doing a little bit more writing on mushrooms than me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what are you thinking?
I mean, the like they're adaptogens, right? So, I mean, maybe we'll talk about adaptogens more as we go through this, but they're um essentially like plant compounds that help your body deal with the stresses that we face better. So, like from the inside out, the things we're exposed to environmentally and just on a daily basis, it just helps you manage that stress a little bit better. So, mushrooms are a huge one. The thing I'll say that though is that like, as we talk about more trends, one thing we're going to be doing is kind of differentiating between what we think is actually helpful and what we think might be overboard, right? And I think with mushrooms, like there's actually a lot of research on just your cheap white button mushrooms that you get at the store for $3, and like they're highly effective for supporting your health. You don't necessarily have to go buy like the really expensive mushroom tea, or like God, I think we saw chocolate covered mushrooms at one at like some station, which I didn't get a chance to try, but I am curious about that. But I'm just saying this is not necessarily something that you like have to go buy this like super expensive adaptogen or like mushroom product when I mean they're from nature. We can get them pretty cheap at the store.
Well, and then I think that for some people, the word mushroom is a little bit of an uphill battle.
Mm.
Um, I handed my husband a mushroom gummy just yesterday, and they taste delicious. It's one of our
Oh.
favorite products that we will probably mention some other time. But and he was like, "Mushroom? Why are you giving me this?" And I was like, "If you can taste the mushroom in that, I'll give you $10." And he was like, "Oh, okay." Like, and those are meant to like not taste like mushrooms, but I think that even if the mushrooms are beneficial, it's still for some people kind of an uphill challenge. So that may be
Yeah,
part of why the trend for put it in the coffee, to put it in the chocolate, to put it in the gummy may be appealing to some people because like they want the benefit, but they just don't want the slime.
that's true. That's true. Yeah, because I mean, I know growing up, I didn't necessarily eat like mushrooms ever, or like a lot of the healthy foods that we know we're supposed to be eating. That has been like as an adult increasing my own tolerance to those things. Um, that's just like in our Western culture, like I think that's very common. We're so
Mhm.
inundated with added sugar and sodium and like high fat foods that like, well, I should be eating this. Um, so that's a great example of like how the industry is kind of responding to like what people's actual challenges are. So that is great to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So do we want to talk about who we are and why we're doing this?
Well, I guess we should probably do that. Yeah. Why don't you go first?
Sure. So, as I mentioned, my name is Anna Reisdorf, a registered dietitian. I've been a dietitian, I don't know, for over 15 years now. Um, Lauren and I work together at uh, a company that I started called RWS Content and Strategy, where we create health and wellness content for nutrition brands, supplement brands, food brands, anything related to nutrition. And so recently we started a website called thefoodtrends.com. And we just kind of a little bit of a side project. We thought that would be fun to share a little bit more about all the things that we're seeing with, like we mentioned, the TikToks and the shows that we go to and what our clients are asking for and that kind of stuff. So this is like a really, really fun experiment so far.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been super fun because it's kind of one of those areas that I didn't necessarily pay too much attention to, because I mean, we're so inundated in the food and nutrition space all the time, but it's not necessarily like, oh, I'm going to try this new thing, or like really pay attention to all these really cool caveats that are going on in food. So yes. So yeah, my name is Lauren. I'm also a registered dietitian, I think since 2010. So there's just a bunch of different experiences in the hospital setting and outpatient counseling of people with disordered eating and just a bunch of different conditions, but also a lot of experience in the public health setting and preventive health and public health standards and dietary supplements. So kind of had my hand in a lot of things. About 10 years ago, I decided to go plant-based. So I stopped eating meat, stopped eating dairy, stopped eating eggs, never really ate fish, but cut that out too. Mostly as like a personal experiment, because as a dietitian, we're taught to counsel people on their needs. And I was like, I don't really know how to relate to my vegetarian clients. I should probably try this and like see what you actually replace the chicken with on your dinner plate every night. Like, how do you use beans? And anybody that has gone plant-based will tell you, like, you start with something and it just is kind of has a domino effect, kind of thing. So that was 10 years ago. So my expertise is in plant-based nutrition, all things alternative protein and cultivated meat and fermented protein. And we'll talk about all of these things more. But so Anna and I are both writers. Like she said, we write in this space. We have a lot of different interests, and food trends has been really fascinating to us. So we're excited to see, what else is going on that we're not aware of yet, and just kind of bring it to you with the science and probably a lot of our opinions too.
So yeah, so our goal is really to break down some of these trends, try some of the trends, which has been fun so far, and tell you, what we think about them. We are also going to bring at the end of each show like an innovative product that we like, something that we recommend, um, and are using ourselves. And so I look forward to trying all these fun things. So far, it has been interesting. We'll share more on the next episode about that.
Yeah.
So I wanted today's product, if I'm ready to move on to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
We wanted to talk to you a little bit about a brand out of Asheville, North Carolina called 18 Chestnuts. It is a very, very, very delicious vegan soup. Is it membership? Like, I guess you subscribe, subscription. You
Yeah.
subscribe and you get these delicious vegan soups sent to your door. We actually met the founder of this company at the Expo East show that we went to. And they are not only loaded with all sorts of delicious plants and fruits and vegetables, but also low in sodium and organic and vegan and all of the things. And they are very tasty. They are very, very tasty. They're low in calories. I will say that when I had them, I added a few things to them because they're very filling. A big jar is technically 2 servings, but I ate it as one
Oh
because
yeah.
I felt like they were like 260 calories for the whole thing. Like, that's not really enough for a lunch,
Yeah.
right? So it was filling, and so I would add, cheese or I like croutons in my soup.
Hmm.
I like crunchy stuff. Or if I had some protein or something, I would add that. But they are really, really good and highly, highly, highly recommended. So we will put an affiliate link to try the 18 chestnut soup and get 10% off your first order in our show notes. So I think that is all
Awesome.
for us for now. Yes.
All right. Good work, team.
Yeah. So
We'll
stay
see.
tuned next week because we're going to talk about um, non-alcoholic drinks, which is like a big topic.
A big food trend for sure.
Right. All right. Well, I'll see you later, Lauren.
Bye.
Bye.